If you've been using a single database to get your leads, I am sorry, but you are missing out on a ton of your ideal customer profile and you are not tapping into your whole total addressable market. You see, the only way to target every lead possible in your total addressable market is to use all the different databases that are available. But if you did this, you'd have dozens of different subscriptions and that would add up quickly for you. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how you can use one single tool and get every lead in your total addressable market without spending thousands of dollars on different tools. But before we do that, I want to show you what it usually looks like when we're building a list of leads to try to increase our total addressable market and get as many leads as possible. So first things first is we use software tools. The problem is that there's dozens of software tools that have their unique lists and their unique features. And what we would have to do in order to get as many leads as possible is use a ton of different softwares to scrape. And the problem with this is it is a recipe for disorganization because you have all these different logins, all these different tools, and it's going to be super expensive because you have all these different subscriptions that you have to pay for, costing you thousands of dollars a year, if not per month. Another way that traditionally leads are built is by doing it manually, scraping lists on the internet, having to search directories, go on LinkedIn, go on Google Maps. And that takes not only a lot of time, but a lot of labor, especially if it's done manually. Another way that people traditionally get lists is to buy lists. You find somebody who's a list broker, they have this pre-scraped lead list that you can purchase. We have to cross our fingers and hope that they have all of the contacts and that they're verified. In addition, on the verification note, we also have to get another tool to verify the leads, because what good is the email if when we send the email, it's going to land in the spam folder or bounce back? That does a lot of harm. So what we have to do is we have to buy another software to verify the actual leads. Last but not least, a lot of people having to use advanced software to come up with personalized lines to scrape data. And it can be really challenging. Even myself, I have a hard time trying to navigate all of the different softwares that I can use to pull even more relevant data for that specific prospect. That's why we're pumped to announce Instantly's newest feature, Super Search. The beauty about this is it takes everything that we had to do in the past and it blends it all in one simple database, meaning you don't have to have 20 different logins for 20 different softwares to pull leads from. You don't have to have lists in different places. Again, just a recipe for you being disorganized. And you don't have to be a software engineer to actually scrape relevant data for your addressable market. Let me explain exactly how Instantly Super Search works. What we can do inside of the Super Search is simply build one list. And then using Super Search, what that's going to do is it's going to find more people based off of the filters and based off of the keywords and criteria that you want to find for your specific target customer. Meaning we don't have to have multiple databases. Super Search will find the leads based off of your filters using multiple databases all in one tool. Next, what it's going to do is it's going to go through a waterfall enrichment process, meaning they have multiple different providers that they're finding the leads. And what they're also doing is they're making sure that the leads are verified. So if provider A doesn't have the email, then we're going to go to provider B and so on and so forth. The best part for us is we're only getting verified emails, meaning when we actually send an email to the person that we're going to send the email to from the list, it's actually going to land in the inbox, which is paramount for growing our business with cold email. After that, what we're able to do is we're able to enrich the profiles even further, meaning we can scrape their LinkedIn profiles, we can find summaries, we can find company descriptions, we can find news, making it so easy to come up with personalized lines and personalizations based off of the contacts that we're actually pulling. Then what we can even do inside of the Super Search in literally 3 clicks in one prompt is write personalized lines. We can write even full emails based off of what we've been able to enrich for that specific lead that we've been able to pull. Last but not least, without being an engineer or using another software, we're able to scrape data from the client's website. We're able to find if they have any job postings, if they've been funded recently, and so much more. Let me show you exactly how this works. What I can simply do inside of Instantly is I can use the lead finder and I can create a really simple list. Let's just say I'm targeting people in California in the health and wellness space, and I'm looking for CEOs and founders. As you'll see here, this list is a list of 1,732. What I can do is I can go ahead and click on Super Search. What that does is it just almost 5x'd the amount of leads based off of the same filters, making the ability to get in front of more people easier than ever and making sure that I'm not having to use multiple softwares and I'm actually getting in front of all of my total addressable market. Then what we can do on the right-hand side is we can go ahead and click on enrich, and we will see a few different options. First things first is the work email. It'll go through multiple different providers, making sure that we're actually finding the right email. What this will do is we'll fully enrich their profile, meaning that it'll find their LinkedIn headline, it'll find their company description, and so much more that we can then leverage for personalized lines, which I'll show you here later on. And all we have to do is click on continue and then figure out how many leads that we want to enrich. You can do all of them. You can do the first couple, etc., etc. Once we click on continue, what's going to pop up is our lead list fully enriched. So I just did the first 15. And what we did is we were able to not only get their name, their company, their location, or their work email, which you can see that it's been through that waterfall enrichment process, but we've been able to create a fully enriched profile, meaning their full profile, contact headline, contact summary, their job title, department, industry, sub-industry, company description, company level, company size, connections, and so much more. This is just a start of the super search. Not only are we pulling, in this case, almost 5 times the amount of leads, but we have a fully enriched profile with the contact headline, the contact summary. We can feel confident in the email that we've been able to actually get for the customer. But what you'll see here is another section that says add column. What you'll see is a few different options for adding a column for these specific leads. Let's just use AI, for example. What we can do is we can come up with a personalized line based off of the different columns that we're able to pull. And because we fully enrich this, because we have a lot of information based off of the contact, we can get really creative here. I'm just going to do an example here. I'm going to paste this. I'm going to do based off of the headline or summary, write me a personalized line, make it one sentence that we have something in common. And then what I can do is I can click on generate and I can say, I'm going to do this for the first 15 leads. And what we'll see is we have a new column of the personalized line that we're able to generate based off of the information that we've been able to enrich it from. Notice we're both into sports entertainment. Super good to connect. Sweet, because we're pulling something that's based off of what they have in their contact summary. In addition, what we can do is we can click on add a column. We can actually write an email using AI. So I could actually just type in my offer, type in what I do, and I can click on generate and it'll actually write me an email example, which is phenomenal. I can also click add enrichment and I can go through job listings. I can find people who have job listings data on the web. I can find the contacts with the job listings data on the web. I can find what technologies that person is using. So if I'm going for e-com people, I want to make sure that they're using Shopify, for example, or I can see specific softwares that you're using and potentially use that in personalized lines or the angle or the offer. I can see if there's any news from the web from that specific contact. I can see if they've been funded recently and leverage that for my email copy and really the angle of my emails. Up here, similar with the AI of what we've been able to do with creating the prompt. So once we have this fully enriched lead list here, all we need to do is we need to build a campaign. And what we're able to do when we build a campaign, let's just do it health and fitness, California. I can click on continue. I can click on add leads. I can do it for my lead finder and I can do it for my lead list. I can then select my leads. I can move them to the campaign of health and fitness in California. And then what we can see here, we can go back to our campaign and all of the leads will be automatically loaded here. And it'll only give us the ones with the verified emails. Obviously I picked a really small data pool, but it's only giving me the legit emails. Now, all we need to do is write our copy and we can use information that we pulled and I can click on the variables and I can put in the new column. We help fitness entrepreneurs become most known. Thought you could be a fit. Could I shoot you over more info on how it works? So then if I click on preview, and we can see it used the personalized line that we built. We can feel really confident in who we're sending it to because it's gone through the waterfall enrichment, which is paramount for actually getting deals. And all we really need to do is click options and we can go ahead and launch this bad boy. So now you're able to cancel all of your subscriptions for finding leads. You can get the most out of your total addressable market and you can make sure you're sending your leads to the right inboxes. And without needing to be a tech engineer or a software engineer, you can enrich their profiles further, scrape data from the website and so much more, guys. Now, if you want to know what it would look like to use this software to start and sell a service-based business offer, go ahead and click on the video on the screen and we will walk you through step by step how to set up your business infrastructure, coming up with an irresistible offer that actually gets replies, setting up the cold email system, which you saw a bit of in this video, and all of the copywriting. We do this all within 10 hours, hoping that I can get a client within those 10 hours as kind of a challenge type thing. So if you've been wondering how this works in a real life scenario, go ahead and click the video on the screen. Thanks so much for watching and we'll see you on the next one.